Welcome to New News for Local Locals. This is the podcast for the locally sourced news for the new local, the back home news for the lost local, and the safest place for stay-at-home moms to think about me naked. We just reached number 1 on the charts for the county's top podcast, so big thanks to the devoted listeners that have been going the whole way with me. I think you're freaks. D-E-A-M, damn, it's Friday, and the winter is slippery out there. Joseph Hardware should have some ice salt tonight. I know that because Willie himself promised me there would be by Friday. This is the read-through of the November 2nd, 2022 edition of the WALLOWA County Chieftain, and I'll be reading the front page and giving you a little flip-through. Maybe even a look at the grocery sales for the weekend. This week's paper looks interesting, but you may want to get a cup of coffee just in case. Pero primero, este podcast es presentado por mis amigos en Locas Putas para New Locos, la fuente de noticias y política en español del condado. Diablos blancos, vegan y emprendan lo que la gente morena dice de ustedes. Locas Putas para nuevos locales y recuerdo, escuchar es bueno para ti, blanquito. The front page. All right. Room with a view, the big picture says. It's a big picture of Andy McKee standing next to a fake cow because he is scared of real cows, apparently. It reads, Andy McKee, who with brother Todd McKee own and operate the Litch Hotel, poses October 1st with the decorations in the Chief Joseph Day's rodeo unit of the hotel. It's one of the 13 WALLOWA County-themed units in the new hotel located in downtown Enterprise. I wonder if he has a room themed for the constant herpes outbreaks at Safeway. Or maybe the one themed after the creeping suicide rate of the last 2 years. I guess we'll see. Brothers restore Litch Building to create unique hotel by Bill Bradshaw. The original building, kitty quarter from the Pioneer Guest Home, was built in 1880. It burned down. After which, Ella and Samuel Litch bought it in 1907 for goddamn $10,000. That's $375,000 in today's money. But more than a century later, the brothers started a restoration project. They received a $200,000 grant from the Oregon State Historic Preservation Office, and they started restoring the building in 2017. The brothers, who have lived in the county for about 10 years, said they ended up spending almost $2 million altogether. Annie McKay says, Sam Litch was a visionary. He was the first racist farmer to use electricity in Oregon. Okay. And then it continues on page 8. It goes on to say, their biggest goal was to revitalize the downtown business district. We tried figuring out how to keep this building full, Andy said. We are hoping it will be a little 13-room demonic microcosm, just like in a Stephen King novel. We really don't mind tempting the devil with a number 13. Only please believe in that kind of shit. As for rumors, the Litch Hotel being the tomb of the Litch King, the McKee brothers had no comment. Each unit has its own kitchen and bedroom, and each unit also has a specific WALLOWA theme, such as, Don't blame me, I voted for Trump, and July 4th DUI arrests. Rodeo Cowboy STDs is my favorite, says Andy. We are trying to keep everything unique and fluid, says Todd, the least favorite brother. Each one is designed completely different. The brothers also came up with a unique chalk guest book that will be ruined by the first overprivileged Portland toddler rich enough to stay at the hotel. The price of a night there is $150 and will probably go up. Andy recommends booking at the Litch Building website, which, of course, isn't listed. Andy McKee finishes by saying, we're trying to do something here that the community supports and not just ram in some unusably expensive design concept nobody wants. That's why we are charging $4,500 a month for rent during a housing crisis. Next up, WALLOWA County Voices. Bobby Bates says, pray for leaders. Choose them wisely. Choose them wisely. Written by Bill Bradshaw. Bob has lived here on Alderslope with her husband for about 8 years. She has owned a forestry consulting business for 4 of those years. She was shocked by the August hailstorm in WALLOWA. She has been ignoring the upcoming vote and hasn't researched the issues or the candidates. She could be, I have to mention, completely up to date and informed if she was a subscriber to local news for new locals, but she isn't. She says it's most important to pray for your leaders and to avoid thinking about or researching their self-declared crimes and attachment to fascist Russia. As winter approaches, she's been gathering wood and getting hay in the barn. Bates would ask people moving here, do you like living by yourself? Because you won't be able to afford not to. But that is why we like living here, she said. It prices out the riffraff. Next up at the bottom here on the front page, dam construction delayed by a year. Rising costs hinder the project to refurbish Wallowa Lake Dam by Bill Bradshaw. Construction has been delayed to fall 2024 on the dam at the foot of the lake due to funding delays and rising costs, according to Dan Butterfield, the president of the Wallowa Lake Irrigation District. Construction should start after irrigation season next year, Butterfield says. Funding is coming in, though, and the stakeholders have access to $14 million from the sale of lottery bonds. They need to rebuild the 4 irrigation ditches and put in screens so the fish don't get into the irrigation from the river. The price was originally $16 million, but skyrocketed to $21 million because of inflation and material costs. And it's only going up, says Butterfield. It sounds simple, but it's kind of complicated, he said. The century-old dam has been waiting for 25 years for upgrades. Plans include spillways, fish passage, and replacing 5 conduit gates and upgrading the electronics. And a quick message from our sponsors, Haskins BBQ sauce. It's no hassle with Haskins. You just pour it on your meat. All right, quick flip for the throughs here. Let's get out of the past. 100 years ago, a crowd of boys found their adventures halted when they ran across the city marshal, the lawful John Crawford, who objected to quote-unquote being sassed. You don't sass Marshal John Crawford, boys. He headed the rowdy bunch down to the county jail where they spent a bad half hour before being sent home without dinner. Also, 100 years ago, Elizabeth Chauvin made an impassioned speech against the Catholic Church and for the support of the Ku Klux Klan. She actually made the speech on 2 separate meetings, the article points out. Could you imagine that on TikTok? I think you could. All right. Next, for the record, report of cow on the road in rural enterprise. Dalton Chase Tansey, 27 of LeGrand, was arrested by Wallowa County Sheriff Office on warrant of probation violation. Monday, suspicious vehicle in rural Joseph. Suspicious circumstances in rural Joseph. Report of lost medication in enterprise. Tuesday, lost dog in rural enterprise. Wednesday, report of wildfire in Eagle Cap Wilderness. Fire department determined it was a burn barrel. Theft complaint in rural Austin. Thursday, call reporting a dumpster fire in rural enterprise. Fire department determined it was Grady Rawls' dating history. Lost female Siberian husky in enterprise. Her owner were reunited. Friday, report of assault in Joseph. Warrant was issued for Russell Orland Hawkins, 54, on charge of failure to appear. Original charge was contempt of court. Fuck. The Wallowa County Circuit Court issued the following warrants for 4 The Wallowa County Circuit Court issued the following warrants for criminal mastermind David Dean Killian, 62, for failure to appear on original charges of first-degree aggravated theft, possession of burglary tools, 2 counts of second-degree criminal mischief, first-degree criminal trespass, second-degree theft, first-degree burglary, second and third-degree criminal mischief. Also, 2, failure to appear for original charge of criminal driving while suspended, driving under the influence of intoxicant, interfering with police officer, 2 counts of refusal to take a test for intoxicants, and failure to stay in lane. Also, 4 failure to appear charges for the original charge of contempt of court. Where the hell is Marshal John Crawford now when you need him, right, guys? Saturday, commercial fire alarm in Joseph. Bradley Dean, 62, was arrested on charges of DUI, reckless endangering, possession of controlled substance, and unlawful possession of firearms. Sunday, noise complaint in enterprise. Report of injured deer in rural Joseph. All right. Josephi Center celebrates 10th anniversary. Jean-Michel writes in a letter to the editor, it's not just politics, it's the Republic. Preserve the Republic. Vote Joe Yetter. Natural gas prices taking a big jump. FFA team does well in national convention. The Joseph FAA earned silver in Indianapolis last week. Good job, guys. Athlete of the week is Caden Fint. Fint took over as quarterback for the Enterprise Outlaws midway through the season. In his last game, he threw for 184 yards and rushed for 118 and 2 touchdowns, including an 83-yard touchdown run. The Outlaws are 6-3 going into the playoffs. They host Cove on Saturday in Enterprise. Wallowa Lake Irrigation District hiring district manager. Apply at wild.org. Survey says Oregonians down B on economy. Obituaries, no laughing. Gary Cornwall died. Darlene Ray Johnson died. Safeway has petite sirloin for $4.77 a pound and pork shoulder at $2.99. Dollar Stretcher has ground beef at $2.99 a pound and pork sirloin steak for $2.29 a pound. Oh, that's it, guys. A big thanks again for listening and getting this podcast to number one. Send any questions and complaints to localnewsfornewlocals@gmail.com or leave a comment below. See you next week. Thank you.